All right, welcome back everyone. In the last video, we added the ability to load the scriptless files when running a scene. So now when we press the play button on the scene, all the scripts will be loaded into the Lua state rather than having to manually write them in the scripts themselves, okay? So we're still working on packaging the game. That's what this is about right now. So now we're going to create the package display, all right, or the package game display. However, before we do that, I would like to create another helper struct, the GameConfig. Now, the GameConfig will be a simple struct that we will use to determine what is packaged and how we want to package the files. Okay, so let's get into it. We're just going to add the GameConfig struct directly to the save project.h, so let's go there. All right, so here we'll create our GameConfig struct. So it's just struct GameConfig. This will be used when packaging the game, so it knows how to name the executable, what scene starts first, the window width and height, and more stuff that we can just add to this as needed, okay? So the first thing we're going to need is the game name. So it's std string s game name. And this could just be empty for now. This will be used for the title bar, the folder that we package the game into, and also the final runtime executable name. We'll be changing the name of the executable. All this is going to be done by the editor. The editor should handle all of that. So we're going to have another string, and this one will be for the startup scene that we want to use. So std string s startup scene. Can be empty for now as well. Startup scene will be the first scene that is loaded when you run a game. So probably going to be like title state or something like that, splash screen, something that you want to run first when you start a game. Next, we're going to have our window params, and we can just bring this in a bit. We're going to have our window params, and that's just going to be stuff like your width, so int window width, and you can have a default value. I'm going to just do 640, and window height 480. Feel free to put these to whatever default you normally use. Then we're also going to need the window flags. Okay, so that's just going to be a uint 32t. That's going to be for our window flags. 0. So we need these flags so the user can, whoever's packaging the game, so you can have a resizable window or a maximized window or borderless, etc. Different window flags. Maybe you don't want the title bar, stuff like that. So we want to make sure that they have that option. Now, there's also going to be some other optional flags that we might need. Now, I'm going to put the camera settings in here, and this will be more for like the default settings. So we'll go int camera width. That can just be 640, 480, like camera height, 480. Camera scale, that'll be a float, so it changes to F, go over here, changes to a float. Awesome. So setting these here will control how they're loaded when the game starts. The scripts can always change that at runtime. But when the runtime actually first starts, you're going to create a camera. Then it's going to create the settings for it. It's better to know right away what those settings are going to be rather than waiting for the scripts to be loaded. But the scripts can always change this at runtime. Like you're still going to be able to do everything in Lua that you can already do now. Okay, so the next that we'll have are the physics params. If physics is not needed, there's no reason for the runtime game to actually create a physics system or physics world, etc. So it's good to have these flags in there. So we'll go bool be physics enabled, and that can start as false. So it's going to default to off. Then you're going to have your position iterations and your velocity iterations. Also the gravity, your regular physics world setting stuff. So right here, go down 2 lines. Actually, no, let's just do this here. So here it's int 32t. That's going to be our position iterations. And that can start as 8 and go down again. And then we have our velocity iterations. Velocity. Cool. And then you're going to have a float. A float for gravity. And that can just be 9.8f. Just your typical gravity. Great stuff. Okay, so next we're going to have some miscellaneous flags. So let's actually change this to debug real fast rather than release. Debug. So next we're going to have some miscellaneous flags. First one is if we want to convert the assets to LUAC files and then to archive them into a zip file. And we'll call this B or bool B package assets. Okay, and this can start out as false. So if this flag is set to true, we'll loop through all of the assets, all the asset binary files, convert them to Lua tables, then compile them down to LUAC bytecode, and then add them into a zip file. Okay, this will allow us to package up our assets, and they're not going to be directly usable from the user side. So whoever downloads the game or tries to play the game can't just go to your assets and be like, "Oh, I want to use this MP3 file, or I want to use this PNG." They'll have to find a way to convert it back into a PNG or to use those files. And we can already load files from memory. Like we can load our textures from memory, sounds from memory. We can already do that. We have that functionality. So we can convert these. It does end up making the size of your package slightly larger. However, with the size of games nowadays, there's no way we're going to be close to any of those games. But that's why we're going to also use the zip archive, and then we're going to unzip it when we want to use it. Okay, and we'll get to that later on. We got far way to go before we get there. Okay, and lastly, we're going to want to have a reset function. Void reset. This will just reset everything back to the default values. Okay, so S, game name, there. Why that does that? Some S, startup scene, sorry. Startup scene. Then we have our window width, maybe 640, or whatever your default is, and then 480 for the height. Flags, window, flags. It's just going to be 0. Now, there is always going to be, because we're using OpenGL, one of the Windows flags, when we are actually creating it, we need to remember that OpenGL is a flag that's necessary. So even though this might be 0, we still need the OpenGL flag, but that will be handled on the engine side. So we don't have to worry about that. So we got our window flags, then we have our camera width to 640. The height is going to be 480. Bring this down. Camera scale. Go to 1.f. Then our physics stuff. So B, physics enabled. Or, yeah, physics enabled. False. Position iterations is equal to 8. Velocity iterations is also 8. And then our gravity to 9.8f. And then the last one will be the miscellaneous flags. B, package assets is equal to false. Cool. And you can add more here as you need more configuration stuff. Okay. We can also, right here, since we're already in here, we can add in the icon, because eventually I want to be able to change the icon for when we package the game. Okay. And we're going to have a worker that handles that. So we're going to say the game exe file icon. And it's just going to be another string, std string s file icon. Awesome. Yeah, so this is going to happen. We're eventually going to be able to change the icons. I do have a working prototype for that, but it's not in our main project yet. So we'll get there. So that's it for the game config helper struct. We can come back and add more things to these later. And now we can go and start the package display. So let's get into that. So that's just going to be a new display. We can actually close this down. And in our editor, of course, we don't need this open. Editor, display, file, add, file. And this is going to be the package split. .h. Yep, we can add it. And we might as well make the .cpp file right away. Copy this. I'll copy that. I want to get the name of this. That. I'm going to wait for the CMake to catch up. Awesome. So that caught up. So let's go here and add the package display.cpp. add new file, PackageDisplay.cpp. And we do want to add this. Cool. I'm going to add in the include PackageDisplay.h, and it's going to be in the editor. So namespace Scion editor. Cool. Go back to our package display, and we can say pragma once namespace Scion editor. All right, so let's get started. So the package display is going to be the same as all the other displays, and it's going to inherit from iDisplay, and we're going to override the update and draw functions. So we might as well include iDisplay. Include iDisplay.h. Awesome. And that's good for now. Let's create our class, and I'm going to call this package game play. And then it's just going to inherit publicly from iDisplay. Cool. Control KD. Awesome. And we're going to have a public section, and we're going to have a private section. And let's actually do our private variables first. So the first thing I'm going to have is actually going to be the game config, and that's going to be a unique pointer. So std pointer of the Scion or game config that we just created. And that's just going to be mp game config. Now it doesn't know what that is, so we need to forward declare, and we can forward declare that here. Namespace Scion core, and then that is a struct game config. Awesome. So we have that. So that's going to be our game config. We're going to need that. We're also going to need to know where the user wants to package the game or the package destination. Okay, and that can be an std string ms destination. Destination. Not string buff. String. Let's go up here and include a couple of things. We do have to do that PCH file stuff because always adding this is kind of a pain. So we'll get to that shortly. Include string. So we have those two things now. Awesome. So we have our destination, and we can say ms destination path, so we remind ourselves what it is. We have our destination path, and then we're going to want our script list path as well. That's ms script list path. Great. So we're also going to want to have the file icon path in here, even though the save game will have it, but we need to save it in that as well. So we can go copy this down and then say ms file icon path. Great. And now I want to create some simple bools for setting the window flags, and it'll be bool. And we're only going to have a few options available. I'm going to say mb sizeable, mb borderless, mb full screen, and mb title bar. Great. So that's good for now for the member variables. Let's actually go up here and add in the functions that we need. So we're going to need the package game display constructor. We're going to need the destructor. And we're going to do our virtual void update override. So we're overriding the update function, and we're going to override the draw as well. Great. So we have those. That's good for now. Let's start to define these functions for the display. We're going to add more things to the display. However, a lot of the necessary functionality in classes don't exist yet, like the packager itself. We're going to need the packager, we're going to need the icon replacer, we're going to need the script compiler, and we're also going to need the asset packager. And those are 4 other separate classes that we need to make. But I just want to have the display in so we can do some testing. Different buttons to trigger different things as we add them in, okay? So let's actually create these now. Control period, and then we want to create declaration definition. It'll create them all for us. Great. Control KO, take us to our CPP file. And there's a couple things we need to add. So we need to add in our save project because we added that in. So let's go include. Or we forward declared it, so we got to make sure we have it here. And that is core utilities and the save project. That'll give us access to the save project struct and the GameConfig struct. Then we need to go include for utilities, and that's going to be core engine data. We're going to need that as well. And that's good to start when we'll add more stuff in as we need. Oh, actually, you know what? We might as well include ImGui as well. So include ImGui.h, and we're going to need ImGui stblib because I like to use the string for whenever we're using input text. I'd rather use the string. And I'm going to want to, and that's good for those. Well, let's go namespace. We're going to need this eventually. File system equal to std file system. Cool. And we might as well add in our utilities for ImGui. So here we can go include editor slash utilities ImGui. And we'll have our ImGui utility. And that's good for now. To get started, we'll add more stuff in as we need. Right here, we're going to have to do our initialization. We're going to have our mp game config, and we can initialize that to std make unique of the Scion or imconfig. That's just default to start. Great. And what was the next variables? That's these. Let's just grab all of these. Copy this. Control KO. And we're going to just paste it in here and fix it. Awesome. There's everything set for us by default. And we are going to do something in the constructor here. We want to actually get the save project and set our script list path. Okay. And this is why it might be beneficial for us to actually save the script list path. So the first time we have it, we can just grab it from the save project. But we're going to do this for now. So we can go const auto reference, and that's going to be p save project. Save project, and that's going to be equal to main registry. So we don't have the main registry right now. So I need to get that. Let's go up to the top here. And that can be right here. We can go include or ECS main registry. Cool. That makes that accessible for us. And we're going to want to get the context. That's going to be get context of the std shared pointer of the Scion or save project. Cool. And we know that's going to exist. So I'm just going to go ms script list path equal to fmt format. And it's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 2, 4. So the 2s are going to be the path separator, right? So the first one's going to be p save project and s project path. Second one will be content. Third one will be the path separator. Then we have scripts, then script. Well, now it doesn't know what the path separator is, so we need to add that in. And I never remember where that is set. So it's right, crash, and the helper utilities. Cool. So right here, up at the top, so we have the include Scion utilities. That's the helper utility. Awesome. OKD. Cool. That should be our script list path. Then we also want to have another one. Let's actually go back to here. Let's go here and add another flag. We'll go bool b or mb script list exists. Back over here, put it down at the bottom, have it false, and have it check here. Script list exists is equal to the fs exists of the ms script list. Oh, did we not include file system? We did not. Now we have file system. Does it exist? Changes to an FS path as well. Awesome. That's all we need for now in the constructor. And the destructor, we're actually going to make this default. We don't really need to do anything in the destructor. And the update function, this will be a to-do handle packager. Okay, so now the draw function. So we just want to call this the package game. So if not ImGui begin, and it's going to be package game. That's what I'm going to call it. That's the display name. So if it doesn't, we want to go ImGui end, and then just this is just the display stuff that we're doing, and this is just to give a little design, So it's up to you. It's like however you want to set up your displays is 100% up to you. That's UI and UX stuff. So sometimes I might set things up a way that you don't like. So you may want to change it and tweak it, and that could be a full-time job in itself, just tweaking editor looks and functionality. So, but we don't have time for that. We're just going to plug stuff in. Let's go ImGui set bar rator text, and I'm going to say package and export game stuff. Then we're going to add a new line. Then I'm going to say if ImGui begin child. I'm going to call this the game packager. Packager. Then I'm going to say ImGui end. So I have it. Now we're going to add another separator text, and this one I'm going to just copy this line here, paste it in, and we're going to just call this one file information. This is just going to be different things that are file related, and I'm going to want to go here, ImGui push item width, and I'm going to say 256 for this. .f. Then I want to do an inline label, ImGui inline label. That's going to be game title. Then I want to go ImGui input text, and we're going to say game title, and we're going to go address of the MP GameConfig of the S game name. And we're going to do the same thing. So let's copy these two, paste it in. This is going to be the destination. Destination. That. And this can change to destination. Here, I'm going to just have it go MS nation path. We have that. But then I want to pop item width. ImGui pop item width. And here, I want to do same line and have a button. This one is so we can open up a file dialog. So scroll this down. Let's go ImGui. Same line. If ImGui button. Going to be just 3 dots. It's going to be for destination. I think we can do this. If not, we'll get rid of it. Test. Because it needs some type of an ID. Otherwise, so here, this is where we're going to set our destination path. Okay. So we want to actually go to do open file log and set destination path. Cool. So we'll get to that shortly. So now we're going to have ImGui inline label. This one is just going to be icon. So if we have an icon, I want to now push item width again. grab this, paste that down, and we can just copy this input text as well. Paste that input text, change this to icon. This is going to be ms file icon path. And we're basically going to do the same thing and open another file dialog because we don't necessarily know where that path is going to be. We want the user to be able to set it. It needs to be configurable. Okay. Push that in. And then this one is going to be for the icon path. And then we want to do the same thing. Do open file dialog for setting the file icon path. So let's have another one. We'll go ImGui inline label. Scroll this down a bit. This is going to be package assets. I'm going to do a tooltip. ImGui tooltip or item tooltip. Sorry, item tooltip, and this is going to be convert assets into black files and add them to zip archive. Cool. I want to add some spaces. Have a separator. Not text, just a separator. And add some more spaces just for clarity. 3. But I forgot to do something here. So right after the tooltip, I actually want to have a checkbox. ImGui checkbox package. This doesn't need a label. Package assets. This is our game config. MP game config. B package asset. Cool stuff. Okay, so now it's time for the default window parameters. So let's go up here and grab another separator text. Cool. Bring it down, paste it in, and I'm going to call that default window parameters stuff. And I'm going to go ImGui, add spaces, 2 spaces is good. Let's have a ImGui inline label. That's going to be window size. Then I want to do push an item width. ImGui push item width 128.f. Then I want to say ImGui input int go width and then that's just your package. So mp game config window width. Let's actually copy this whole button down and we'll handle it later. Height here. Change this to height. And add this. Don't need the push item, but we can go ImGui. Same line. So it'll be the width and the height. And we can pop the item width. ImGui. Pop item width. ImGui. Separator. Lots of stuff here. ImGui. Add spaces. Spaces. We're going to have our window flags. ImGui. Text. Window flags. Separator. Okay, and now we're going to have a bunch of checkboxes. And it's going to be like this. So if ImGui checkbox for size able resizable. We're going to do some stuff in here. I forgot to add the inline label. So ImGui inline label is going to be resizable. Okay, so if the screen or the window is resizable, I want to turn full screen to off because the full screen is a flag in SDL that will take up the entire screen. It's not maximizing, it's full screen, okay, which means that there's no border, no anything, and it takes up the entire screen. So we want to go if MB sizable, so we're turning it on, I want to automatically reset MB full screen. False. Cool. And since we're talking about full screen, we might as well copy all of this and do the same thing for full screen. Paste. Change this to full screen. Full screen. Full screen. And same idea. We're going to want to reset resizable if we turn on full screen. MB sizable equal to false. But we also want to turn the title bar to false because that won't be there either. The title bar. Cool. We can actually copy this one and paste it. And we want to do it for the title bar. So if it has a title bar, MB title bar. Well, now we want to reset full screen, MB full screen, not a full screen. And we also want to reset borderless, MB borderless. Okay. And the last one is going to be borderless. Let's copy this. Paste. Borderless. Borderless. MB borderless. Copy this. Paste this, and we can get rid of the borderless. We don't need that, and this can change to the title bar. So MB title bar. So it doesn't need a title bar if it's borderless. Cool. A little bit more here. Scroll it down. Go ImGui separator. Cool. And then I want to add some spaces. ImGui add spaces. 3. Then I need some separator text. ImGui separator text. This one's going to be our default camera parameters. Let's add 3 more spaces. Copy this. And then we're going to do an inline label for the camera size. So basically, we're going to do the same thing that we did up here for the window size. Let's actually just grab all of this and grab that down here. Paste that in. Change this to camera size. Camera. Camera. All right. So then we can do another one for the scale. Let's copy this. Push item width. As long as we don't pop item width, it should be fine. So we'll have another one, inline label. This will be ImGui input float. Camera scale. Change this to camera scale. That takes in paste. Camera scale. So we have our input float. Awesome. So let's add 3 more spaces. Let's copy this. That's our camera handled. All right. And then we'll have our startup options right here. So we can do another. Well, we already have the separator text. Let's copy this down first. Right here, go down. Separator text. will be our startup options. And now we need to get all the scene names, right? Because I want to be able to pick the startup scene. If ImGui begin combo, and this is going to be start up scenes, and it's MP GameConfig startup scene dot string. So we're doing a combo. This we need to do the end combo, sorry, end combo. And now we need to loop through all of the possible scene names. Okay, so we can go for const auto reference s scene name in scene manager. So we're going to need to add that in. Let's go to the top here. And right here, we can go include editor scene manager. Go back down, down here. So we have our scene manager. I should be able to get scene names. I'm not sure if we made that function yet. If not, we'll make it right now. Scene manager, get scene names. Awesome. We'll have all the available scene names for us. And then here I can go if ImGui selectable s scene name s scene name equal to mp GameConfig s startup scene. That will determine if it's highlighted or not, right? So right here, so it shows car label, and then this is it selected, right? So this is just a bool value. Then I want to set it. So mp GameConfig s startup scene is equal to s. Awesome. And now we can push or pop the item width. Or actually, where were we pushing the item width? So we have 128 there, right? So right here, I want to go ImGui pop item width. And then I want to have this one a little bit bigger. So I want to go ImGui push item width. I want this one to actually be 256.f. And then I want to pop it afterwards down here. ImGui pop item. That should be end child, not end, because we're inside of child right now. You guys probably caught that as well. So we're in the begin child. Scroll down, doing a lot in here, which is great. Okay, that's it for the child. So let's go outside of this child and go ImGui end. Because we made it here, we need to say end. And let's do some stuff here. I'm going to add a separator, ImGui separator. And then I'm going to add a couple spaces. And I'm going to add some spaces here. And I'm just going to say I am add spaces, and we're going to say 3. And I'm just going to make a button for now. Not going to do anything. It's going to be if I am button package game. Cool. Scion log packaged the game. We have to include our logger. Include the logger. Cool. All right. So that should build, but before we do, let's just add it into our application. So we're actually rendering this so we can take a look at it and mess around with it. So let's go to our application.cpp, go here, and go down to the application.cpp and just add another display here. Doesn't matter where we put it really. Put it here. And then it's just package. Okay. Awesome. Scroll down and we'll just add it in. I think it's render displays. We need to add this in here. So where we're setting up our displays, so the init displays, we need to add this in here and get rid of that. We just want to add it where the scenes are, the script list. Do it right here, right? And that's called package game. And we'll just go and make sure that's what it's called. Let's go here to the display, begin, package game. What it's called right there. That's the name of our display. We'll just copy that and just verify. Cool. Okay, so we have those, and now we have to build it. We have to actually add it. That is, sorry, that is right here where we're adding all these displays. So let's just copy this, paste. Package display, package game display. Copy this down to the bottom. Copy this line down. That in. There we go. Now that should show us the display, and let's see if that worked. Okay, so we got some errors here. Let's see. So we have a problem with the formatting. And let's go to that. Package display.cpp up here. And I know it's right here. Okay. So we have 5 different ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right there. Let's try that. All right, everything looks happy. Let's open our project. And we did have well, I have this one. We'll just open this one for now. I did have a test one. We'll go back to that one later. Open this, load project, and bang, there is our package game. So we can put our game title in. These aren't working yet. We can do the destination, the game title, right? Icon eventually, and then our default parameters, those sizes, camera scale, these are working. So you can have title bar and resizable. Those should work. You can have full screen and borderless. And then we'll have our startup options, and you have your 3 scenes that you can start up with. Cool, and then push package game. Cool. So all that is working right now. Now, it's not fully functional, so the next video will add in these file dialogues. As in a challenge, why don't you try that out? Take a second. We've already done this before. And try to add it so when it opens it up, it opens a file dialog, and it sets your destination, and it sets your icon path, okay? So in the icon path, you want to make sure that it only can choose ICO files. So make sure you set that up. And in the next video, we're actually going to start looking into the script compiler. So we're going to handle that first with the file dialog, and then we're going to create the script compiler class. Okay, and what that class is supposed to do, that class will gather up all of the scripts from the script list and compile them to bytecode or LUEC bytecode, okay? So we'll get into that in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, check out the Discord channel that we have. The link will be in the description, and it's also on the main YouTube About page as well. So check out the Discord channel. There's lots of stuff going on there, lots of talking. We're fixing the engine on the side, and people are finding bugs, and we're working those out. So check that out. Also, make sure you check out the main repo in the main GitHub repo, because there's always little bugs being fixed, and not every bug needs a video. Okay, so you might not see the bug if you're not keeping up with the repo as well. Okay, that's it. Take it easy.